Welkom bij CEO's op koers. In deze reeks stap ik bij CEO's in de auto en op weg naar hun volgende bestemming ga ik met ze in gesprek. Over de PwC CEO Survey en over de kansen en uitdagingen die ze voor hun eigen onderneming zien. Op de Zuidas in Amsterdam staat het hoofdkantoor van Arcadis. Hier ontmoet ik CEO Alan Brookes. Welcome, Alan.
Thank you, Paul.
Good to have you on board.
Yeah.
Where are we heading?
Right, today, Paul, we're heading to the Joan building, which is a project we've really just completed, and it's the highest level Dutch BREEAM standard building today and a net zero sustainable building. So really about Arcadis and what we do.
Okay, and Arcadis, you're the CEO of Arcadis for almost a year now.
Yep.
And you're also the second CEO in this series that's not from the Netherlands. What brought you to Arcadis?
An acquisition, really. I was in Asia working across China to Australia for E.C. Harris, and the business was acquired in 2011. And then
you came along with the package.
I came along, yeah, I was part of the package. And then I think came back to the UK in 2015 because we then wanted to integrate some businesses that had been acquired there. And then as Peter Oosterveer arrived, I took on Middle East, Europe and UK. And then latterly I was Chief Operating Officer until 12 months ago.
But there's still a lot of traveling involved, right?
Yeah, mainly these days I try and see a lot of the people in our offices and investors around the world. Obviously we're a Dutch business, but a large part of our business these days is in America, Canada, all over the world, and right across Europe. So I try and move around, see our people and see the investors.
Officially, Arcadis is a design, consulting and engineering company.
Yep.
What does that mean? What do you do?
We do architectural design, engineering design. We do sustainability consulting and digital work as well. We employ 36,000 people around the world, but they can be working in environmental restoration, cleanup, utilities such as water companies, but also infrastructure, so rail, roads, highways, if you like, and also in buildings, so from data centers to offices, hotels, so a wide variety where we would look at structural and engineering design, architecture, but also increasingly asset management. As energy prices have risen, we've gone more into the management of assets as well around the world, and that's across 30 countries worldwide. So we do about 40,000 projects in a year, so an awful lot going on in different areas.
Mm-hmm. Sounds very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds like a great job, right?
It is, yeah. And I think it's great to see the work we do, whether it's here cleaning up and restoring after the sort of energy exploration, but actually restoring it to farmland, or it can be work for, in New York, where we've looked at the new Albany site for the new nanotechnology for semiconductors. So lots of different designs, lots of different areas that we look at. So very broad, but it makes life very interesting.
Before becoming a CEO, you were the COO, the Chief Operating Officer. Is there a big difference between the two roles?
Yeah, I think the COO role was very much more operations, profit and loss, reporting, and whilst I still retain some of that, my role now is much more linked to looking at the investors and the analysts and trying to broaden out the investor base of Arcadis, as well as meeting our people on the ground and really, hopefully, exciting them about the strategy we have ahead of us.
Is there any advice you could give young people who want to work for Arcadis, who are already in the business?
Yeah, I think for young people today, we're really trying to show the purpose in the world today around sustainability, and I think that excites people. And I'd say really try different things, different projects, just be exploring new ideas and new ways of working, because the world is changing fast. The world is moving faster now than ever before. And I think just being curious and actually looking at different things, trying different things, is a way for young people to come through in their career these days.
And is that something Arcadis can offer them?
Yes, yeah. And what we try and do is talk to our people about the different things we do and just say, if you're interested, try it. And we try different projects, different skills.
Different countries as well?
Different countries, yeah, very much so, Paul, yeah. But also the way digital is impacting, AI is impacting. There's lots of things people can get involved in and just try and see if they like it.
So there's this new strategy, you already mentioned it. What's it called again?
Accelerating a Planet's Positive Future. Yeah.
Okay, and what does it mean?
It means that what we're looking at is the work we do making a positive impact on the planet, that we don't work on fossil fuel extraction, for example, but we will look at remediation, we'll look at environmental work, energy transition, the movement of people to cities, the work that we do on decarbonisation and climate. So it's those positive things that impact the planet and restore it for the future.
Okay, can you give some specific examples of projects?
Well, here in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, for example, we were asked to look at the movement of people, and space is under pressure in Rotterdam now with more people coming in. So we were asked to look at really a silted up area and created Zuidpolder Park, which is about 130 hectares, and that's for walking, cycling, but at the same time, it's also a water reservoir that people may not realise to provide water to the city as well. So it's those sort of projects that we really like to do.
Which megatrends, for instance, urbanization, energy transition, are particularly relevant to Arcadis?
I think all the mega trends are particularly relevant, actually, because we do things from climate and flood alleviation. So I was in New York recently, and we are protecting the whole of Battery Park. And I think, being Dutch, we know how to keep the water out, as they say. So I think that's been a real positive impact that we've had. But also, when you look at urbanisation, the movement of people to cities, there is an idea in Australia being piloted of the 30-minute city, where you can live, work and play, so to speak, within 30 minutes. And I think these are the things that we're looking at in the future, where you look at the megatrends and say, whether it's climate, urbanisation, energy transition, we want to be involved and help the world improve in that sense.
Yeah, but don't we all? I mean, but what is it? In what way are you different in that respect from the competition? Yeah,
and I think probably the history we have, so 135 years in the Netherlands, the history of 135 years in the Netherlands allows us, I think, to really impact things like flood alleviation and climate. There was a typical project in Battery Park in New York, where we were asked to give a design solution. And when I was there, the client said, well, we chose yours. And I asked him why he chose our solution. He said, because others wanted to build a wall to keep the water out. You looked at water management using a graded parkland to break the energy of the water. So we didn't have the walls and we could still see the Statue of Liberty. And I think that's the sort of thing that makes a difference.
You recently presented a record revenue over 2023.
Yeah,
that's a nice start as a CEO of the company.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah. Did you expect to come with pretty spectacular results?
Yeah.
Over while the world is in crisis.
Well, thank you for saying so. But I think it was part of a plan. I mean, clearly our people are the standout part of that, what they do and what they help us achieve. However, I think also we've been running a 3-year strategy which ended in 2023, and part of that was actually improving the way we work, the projects and choices that we take, and of course we made 2 acquisitions and integrated them in that period, Arcadis IBI and Arcadis DPS. I think when you put all of those things together, it allowed us to achieve record results. And I think, yes, at a challenging time, but it was about the choices we make and the work that we've done over that 3-year period.
Okay, and how do you look at the next coming years? Because it's hard to it leaves less room for improvement, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think also we've said to ourselves 3 years is an announcement we make. But there are things that we were only doing in 23 that will help and improve our performance in 24, 25. We can see other things that we can do. There's some growth areas, some tailwinds in the world, such as stimulus packages right now that impact our business, like semiconductor onshoring, but like climate and net zero, that really helps us. And I think that's where we can see ourselves continuing the journey to keep improving and moving forward.
So a big deal for Arcadis is to help clients become more sustainable. Mm-hmm. Do you practice what you preach?
I think we have to practice what we preach. Otherwise, I think it would be very short-lived if we started to talk to a client and found that we couldn't deliver on that. We made a commitment to net zero in 2035. In the new strategy, the next 3-year period, we put some targets along that journey to show progress. All our buildings, all our offices now are renewable energy. We are working hard at improving green spaces into our offices, and we've done a lot of work around that. And so, yes, we have to work on that basis that improve what we do as a business to show what we do, and in terms of making that a showcase for our clients as well.
Okay. I recall that Arcadis, along with several other high-profile Dutch companies, made sort of a pledge to reduce the business flights by 50%, I believe it was, during the COVID-19 pandemic. How did that work out?
Yeah, we achieved that actually. We managed that carefully. And it's one of the things that's still on our agenda today, because short-haul flights in particular are the most greatest emissions in carbon, if you like. So we try and look at this. There are parts of the world where it becomes difficult, so we're trying to manage that as well. Sort of North America, the distances can be great, but the rail travel is not as easy to do. So we're planning and trying to plan very carefully how we manage the business going forward, but flights are a key part of that. Mm-hmm.
So if you'll be flying soon again for to Asia, I think.
Yeah, I'm flying further to see our people in Asia and then on to see other investors in the coming weeks and months.
In Australia and so you try to combine the different.
Correct. Well, that's one of the other things we do. Yeah, is never do a one-off flight somewhere there and back. Try and say if they do need to fly, then let's make it a circus and take things in, because otherwise you don't maximise the opportunity of flights coming together in that way. Yeah.
So, but it's quite impressive if you manage to reduce it by 50%, the business flights in the company.
Yeah, and I think that will be a constant challenge, because clients like to see you, investors like to see you, but actually you've got to try and make sure you maximise the opportunity of the travel and take the train where you can. I mean, the Eurostar is good and things like that.
Yeah, and it's not a thing that trends to creep back up?
It can creep back up. I mean, I think we saw a little bit of creeping up straight after COVID, because people wanted to get back out, meet clients.
They were relieved.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, yes,
travel again.
And I think we saw that, and that's why I say you constantly have to look at that. And people do understand, though, that air travel is one of the big issues, as can be car travel at times as well. So trying to balance that, we've moved our fleet of any company cars into electric vehicle choices now. So you're constantly trying to improve the situation.
Speaking of travel, obviously you've done a lot of traveling. You still do a lot of traveling. Doesn't it wear you out?
I do like travel. You can tire of airports now and again, but I think I do like to meet people, and that's the main thing. I enjoy meeting our people, I enjoy meeting clients, and I enjoy meeting investors and analysts. So, and people have been a big part of our strategy as well. So I think it's good to listen to our people, and try and stay alert to what our people are looking for out of the business as well. And I see that as part of my job.
Alan, you also completed the PwC CEO survey.
Yep.
Is there any challenge that you also brought up in the survey that is a really big challenge, a major challenge for Arcadis.
I think when I was completing the survey, one of the things at the time, I think we were all seeing interest rates going up. We were sort of seeing cost of energy. We were looking at various challenges around the world. I think that's starting to get under control with inflation, and we're expecting interest rates to fall. So we'll watch that. However, the other thing that's still there for me is the geopolitical situation. We have to be alert around the world. 70 elections this year alone that need to be tracked and see what happens with who's running countries, where we work and where we operate. We still see some tensions in the world. So it's a constant sort of just watch out, I think, in terms of running a business these days.
So, geopolitics is always a big threat even to Arcadis.
Because we have to track things like the US sanctions and what's going on. We have to look at our people's safety if we're going into certain parts of the world. But there's also things that impact us, like foreign exchange rates in a country. If the politics can impact even a currency in a country. So lots of things to feed into a formula there, really.
It's very important for companies to focus on inclusion and diversity. That's for Arcadis is no different.
Correct. Yeah.
What do you do specifically about these issues?
Yeah, I think you're touching on a personal passion of mine in terms of diversity, inclusion, and a sense of belonging in a business. And I think we've had quite a lot of activity around diversity inclusion. We set up affinity groups to look at each part of diversity, inclusion and belonging. We've taken in advice from them. When I was forming my own leadership team now, we have 5 females and 4 males on the leadership team. Now, that wasn't just a deliberate balance of gender. That was actually looking at the best people and actually bringing them in for that diversity of thought and the diversity of thinking. It makes a big difference to a business, I think. So I'm a real, hopefully you can tell, I'm a real sort of fan and champion of diversity and inclusion in the business.
Okay, and has that changed over the years of your career? Have you seen it change?
Yes, I think so, because initially what I saw was people like to recruit people like themselves, and actually persuading people and educating people that actually bringing in different people with different ideas and ways of thinking
makes better companies.
Makes stronger businesses for the future. So I think it's a real positive thing to do, but it has changed over the years, and I think now we're only just realizing the benefits.
And what are the plans for Arcadis for the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think a few things for us looking ahead. We're in this 3-year strategy period, and we've said we want to be famous around sustainability, as I said before, but energy transition, and actually taking all the skills that we've established, particularly here in the Netherlands, and exporting them around the world, I think is a real positive thing for us to go forward on. Secondly, I'd say digital. Who knows where AI is really going to take us into the future, but we're training our people on digital. I think we'd like to be more advisors to our clients, using data, using information, but still with our deep asset knowledge. And that's what we're really looking at. And obviously the one you've just touched on, which is I'd like us to continue our journey of diversity, inclusion and belonging, to really see ourselves leading the way to really create a very inclusive, welcoming organisation for the future.
And does it work for the people in Arcadis? Do you think they always come forward, or?
I think so. I think we've done well. Our staff survey, which we started, we asked for feedback, and we ended last year with a score of 52, which is the highest quartile in our industry. And it was really great to get that feedback from our people, how they're feeling. I think as we launched our new strategy, real positivity about having a purpose to a business, and that's what this has given them. So, I think I hope that they wouldn't hesitate to give me feedback if they thought there was something else that they wanted me to do. Yeah.
Because even if the door is always open, you still need people to walk through, right?
Correct. Yeah, and I hope that is the case. Really genuinely hope it's the case, because then it makes for a better business.
People being the main asset for Arcadis.
People being really almost the only main asset for the company in many ways. And I think that's why it's important to look after them, to develop them. We're launching a skills-powered organisation which will allow our people to look at projects that they can work on, but at the same time it will help them develop their careers for the future. And I think you've got to really look after and nurture the people in the business, because that's what the business is. Will you stick to the Netherlands for the next couple of years? Oh, yeah. I mean, I think our Dutch heritage is something I personally, but also our business, I believe, is very proud of. I think it does differentiate us from other global players like ourselves. And I think when you look at the world's challenges today around climate, around water, around sustainability, the Netherlands often leads the way, and it's a great pedigree to have when you're going around the world as a global business. So yes, definitely keeping the Dutch heritage here. On a more personal note, Alan, what do you do after a busy week to unwind? Well, funny enough, I've just taken a delivery of a piano. I used to play the piano years ago, and I used to sing years ago. And so I sort of looked at this and thought, actually, it's what would be good, something to absorb me that I can't think about work. So over Christmas, we took delivery of a piano, and I'm just starting to learn again how to play, and that just absorbs me and relaxes me. So that's the main thing I do. Okay, yeah. And well, you need a time to play it, right? Yeah, yes, that's the challenge. But yes, yeah, but it's good. I mean, I enjoy music. Has been a passion of mine all my life. So from singing on stage from the age of 7, I think it was. So yeah, quite a while now. Yeah. Okay, and consuming music as well, listening. Oh, yeah, all sorts of music. Yeah, from classical to pop music to any sort of music. I love it. Yeah. So music is your that's my escape. Okay. That's your escape. So this is it, Alan. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. We're back at Arcadis headquarters. Thank you very much for this conversation. Oh, it's a pleasure. Really good to talk to you. Thank you very much. Okay. I hope to meet you again sometime. I'm sure we will. Thanks, Paul. Thank you. Take care.